Freddy goes to.
And the Freddy goes to.
The Freddy goes to.
The Freddy goes to.
And the Freddy goes
to. The Freddy goes to.
Live from the State Theater Center for the Arts, it's the Freddy Awards, recognizing and rewarding exceptional accomplishments in the production and performance of musical theater in local high schools.
Freddy Awards, to me, it's honestly the Super Bowl of high school theater.
And I had a headache for a week because they make these kids scream constantly.
All the awards are just the extra stuff. To be there and enjoy each other's spirit of one art form in that environment. That's the positive.
Good morning, Rovers. Reporting live from the Rover Nation station, I'm Donovan. Today our tennis team will be on the road versus East Stroudsburg South. Then our boys baseball team will start off their season at home against Hazleton at 4 p.m.
I'm Mrs. Dargy. I teach fashion and fabrics here at the high school, and I'm the costume director. I'm involved with the school musical because I wanted to see other children. I wanted to see and be involved with students that I didn't see in my classes. In 2007, I unfortunately lost my husband, and I needed something to keep me busy. And there was an email sent to me, or I should say to all the teachers, asking if there was anyone that was willing to help with the costumes. And I said, well, I could do a little bit of sewing. Well, that little bit of sewing turned out to be making all the costumes for the show that year, and it was Guys and Dolls. And it was a bit of a challenge, but I learned a lot, and it was a blast. I loved working with the kids. It was seeing a different aspect of the high school, and I love that.
I'm involved because I love Mrs. Dargy. I went to school at Easton. I graduated in 2010, and I was involved in the musical shows all of my 4 years. And my last show we did was Ragtime.
It's my pleasure to announce our second nominated musical, Easton Area High School's production of Ragtime.
Hazy, belly a storm, belly a chill. So then when I had some free time, I came back to be with Mrs. Dargy and do costumes all over again.
I've been doing the orchestra for the musical with the Pit. For me, it's just a natural place to be. My job, being the instrumental person, to do the instrumental part of the musical. So I never thought of not doing it. First of all, the beauty of the Pit is that it's a small ensemble. Basically one student on a part, so really nice to be able to shape a small group of instrumentalists. And the other part that draws me to it is that it is the real books from New York, so the students are learning what an actual Broadway musician is playing. So we do not do a watered down version, it is the real thing, so I think that's exciting.
I play first clarinet in the Pit Orchestra. I'm involved because I'm already in the wind ensemble in the orchestra, and I got the opportunity to become more involved in the program that I already enjoy so much, so I wanted to try it for last year and this year.
I'm Andrew Gifford, and I'm a cast member of the theater program. Well, I'm involved with theater because I've always sang in choirs whenever it was school or church or whatever. Or one of the teachers here said like, hey, you know, maybe you'd want to try this. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And so I did my first show when I was 10, and ever since then I've just kind of rolled with it.
View Avenue Hill in New Rochelle, New York. And it seemed for some years thereafter that all the family's days would be warm and fair.
And ever since then I've just kind of rolled with it, and it's just been a thing I've done relentlessly.
Hello, my name is Hamir Booker, and I'm a cast member of the Eastern Area High School Musical. I'm involved in musical theater because I've always had a passion for acting.
My name is Ryan Neal. I was the director and vocal director of Easton High School show. I volunteered if nobody in the school district was willing to do it. Nobody wanted to take on the commitment, so I volunteered.
The fifth and final nominated musical of the evening is Bangor High School, performing You Can't Stop the Beat.
Most people didn't know how hard students in the arts work towards these musicals. At any time you can bring students out in the public mind sight, it's a good thing. So in comes the Freddy Awards.
And the Freddy goes to. And the Freddy goes to. And the Freddy goes to.
Rob Gerald.
The Freddy Awards are a competition in the Lehigh Valley and beyond for high school students that are participating in musical theater.
A great big wave came and washed me overboard, and as I sank and I hollered, someone saved
all the aspects of theater are actually involved, from costumes to hair and makeup to the scenery, the lighting, the tech crew, and then of course choreography, acting, and singing.
I feel like the Freddys really capture the diversity that we have in the Valley, because everyone knows the Valley for like the sports and lacrosse and football and all that. But what they don't see is that there's actually a rich talent of theater kids and music kids. And I think that, especially with it being televised the way it is, I think that brings that part of the Valley, and it kind of stabilizes the whole, inflated sport thing that goes on here.
How would I define the Freddy Awards? Like an amateur Oscars. I think it's cool for these students to experience an award show in a way like this. It's fascinating.
They bring in the community, and they also bring in a sense of competition for the students.
And it plucks out the best of the best. When there's competition, you strive to be the best, and you're not gonna sit around and be like, oh, just muddle through it. You're gonna put your hard work into it.
I think what the Freddy Awards have done for theater is brought a lot of notoriety to it. When I was a kid in high school theater, and people kind of looked and were like, oh, you're one of those theater kids. When the Freddy Awards came around, that really changed because people saw the hard work that goes into every aspect of the production.
The State Theater adds to the experience where when you go to the Freddys, they tell you how the director is working, and they make you yell and scream and jump up and down. They make the home audience see that there's excitement.
I think it's a great mix of the old and the new. I'm a huge fan of the history behind the State Theater.
And then for our students to be able to perform in such a historic theater is you can't replicate that anywhere else.
I think the State Theater in this area, it's one of the few theaters that closest resembles a Broadway theater. And I think that when you put so many kids who are devoted to such an activity in a space that's almost like Broadway, it's like right there, you really just get to soak it in that, this is just one step away from Broadway.
Every respectable old theater has a ghost. It's J. Fred Osterstock, who was the manager of the chain that owned this theater years ago. Well, I was out in the lobby, and the building was locked and dark, and I was walking by the door, and I saw someone sitting here kind of looking at the stage like this. Excuse me, sir, and got up here, and there was nobody here. And I thought, I know him from somewhere. I know him. Who was that? I know that guy. And then, it was Fred.
Absolutely, I believe in Freddy.
So I enjoy the story about the ghost, but do I believe in that? No, but that's just me.
I do not believe in the Freddy ghost.
I do not believe in the Freddy ghost.
That's probably why people are talking about his ghost is haunts around and sings show tunes or something, which I think is kind of a cool ghost.
It was 2010, it was my first Freddy's when we did Ragtime. I remember looking up into the one box where there's the camera, and I thought I saw the Freddy ghost.
I've heard the stories, but I think it's all a myth. I don't know.
It would bring people into the theater that didn't know about Freddy, and as they're walking through the theater, they would say they smelled cigar smoke. They said, I'd hate to think that you allow smoking in a gorgeous theater like that. And they would explain that that's Freddy walking around, because he always smokes cigars.
But I absolutely believe that the Freddy Ghost is there, and I think just that kind of whole legend, it kind of just gives more energy the night. It's like, are we going to see the Freddy Ghost tonight? You know, and there are people that have seen the Ghost. I have friends who graduated back in 2012, 2013 that did the Freddys, and they say that they've seen the Ghost and they've come back and they've still seen him. So I completely believe he's there.
The top secret judging process.
I don't know if the Freddy nominating process and winning process is fair because I've never sat in. I have talked with people that are judges or have been judges in the past, and they are moving and they have been moving towards spreading things out, you know, so that it doesn't turn out that certain schools get 10, 15 nominations every year. Some schools get none.
Every school is required to send, I believe it's 10 tickets to the State Theater. And there is somebody at each one of the shows, at least 2 people at each time the show is shown.
Jackie, how are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Are you excited?
I'm excited about today. And they write down their notes. They have a check-off list and they check off their notes. Then when all the shows are finished, they then compile all their notes and figure out who won.
They have like a panel of judges, but they only select a couple of judges to go to each show. And then those judges rate the shows that they see, and however they perceive the show is then tallied up, and that's who gets the nomination.
You can tell who the judges are because they're the only ones that have paper in the theater.
Being nominated is something that I never thought would happen. And when it happened last year, I was in the biggest state of shock I've ever been in my entire life. Because for years and years, I've been watching the Freddys. I'm like, you know, one day, you know, I just kind of want to do that and hopefully win something. But the day I got nominated last year, I was over the moon. I was like, I can die happy now.
Hypothetically, if I won, my acceptance speech would be like,
as far as encouraging people to join, I think it's one of those things that you should just do, because there's a place in theater for everybody. Whether you're able to sing and dance and be part of the cast, if you're somebody who, hey, I can pick something up and put it down, we've got a spot for you in the crew. And you know, although some skills are necessary coming in, you don't need a huge skill set walking through the door, because to me that's what our program is about. It's about teaching skills and having a good time while we're doing it.
It's a great time, whether you're in cast or crew or pit, and it really brings people closer together. You come here at the beginning of the year really not knowing who's going to be in this big group of kids, and you end up with a new family, and it's really something fun, and you pull together and put on a show that you really didn't think you could put on.
I think that everyone can find a spot for what they're good at, whether it's if you play an instrument, if you can perform, if you can dance, or if you can just do something backstage.
I think a lot of students might have an opinion that, you know, that might not be for them, and I think they need to understand the various roles that the musical has. It doesn't have to be just those individuals on the stage, but all the support crew that goes on around it.
By just seeing what it's about, most people don't know that, like, we're a family in the musical theater. Whether you're tech crew, whether you're cast, pit, costume crew, no matter what you do, everyone comes together for that 1 week, that one weekend of shows.
Honestly, just try anything once. I know you think, oh, theater is scary, oh my God, there's a stage and there's lights and people. But honestly, when you do theater and when you do shows with such an incredible cast like we have here or like in other schools, it really just becomes one giant support group. And regardless whether you're in pit, you're in cast, you're in crew, whatever you do, there's this sense of we are one, and I got your back, you got my back.
I think the biggest thing to encourage others is to kind of break the mold of what people think the musical is about and what kind of roles exist within the musical, and that there's so much more. And they become greater roles as you move up in level, and I think that that's something we certainly need to expound upon for our students to understand the musical and what's there and what's available for them.
Challenges young artists and young students more than more than other extracurricular activities would necessarily do.
I try to encourage kids to go out for the play. I start talking about it from the very beginning. And I tell all my students, when I introduce myself at the beginning of the year, I tell them that I'm involved in the play and that they really should get involved. And there's parts for everybody. There's all kinds of things involved. They think that they have to be super talented, or maybe they don't even know that they have talent. They've never given it a try.
Musical theater has opened up my eyes and made me realize that, you know, like I really do like, you know, being on stage in the front lines, you know, like I could have like my own TV show, maybe like a reality show. Not really a reality.
For them to be able to get dressed up for a night and really feel that special aura, I think those reasons alone are why I think the Freddys are great.
I learned a lot in the 4 years that I was involved in the show. Coming away from it, I'm proud of what I've done. There were a lot of moments in my life where, and, you know, we all have our own problems, but one of my biggest ones was, you know, laziness. Growing up when I was in school, and but doing the play, it didn't allow me to be lazy.
And I know a lot of those kids, they all have those dreams, and some of them never get to do that. So I think doing the Freddys in the State Theater, it really brings about that star moment, like you have your 15 minutes of fame.
Here we go. Outstanding performance by an orchestra. Beauty and the Beast.
And the kids are very whiny. Then the kids get on stage and I see my costumes, I see everybody perform, I cry, and then I forget everything that I went through, and maybe 2-3 weeks after the show's over, I'm ready to start again. Right now, I'm ready to start again on next year's show.
That's so good. That was
awesome.
My position is a. I like that.
Hello, my name is Hamir.
Wait, sorry. Mason's gonna point when.
Hello, my name is Hamir.
Did you start this? Wait till I talk.
Until we ask you a question. Don't talk.
Oh, okay.
Easton High School show.
Why are you involved?
I'm involved.
He has to look at you, Julia.
And you know, just to close off this video, I would like to perform a little song, you know, to show off my singing range.
I feel like they make them special because one, they're home in Easton, and I'm really bad at this.
And you see. Wait, can you repeat the question?
The Freddy Awards are an awards ceremony. Freddy Awards is an awards ceremony. Okay.
That was just a little snippet. I can't help it. That was. What did you want me to say?